And we are live. Welcome back to On the King's Dime, Monday night, 21st of March. Season is still flying along and we're picking up wins left and right. This has been a great run. We're going to talk about it tonight. There's heaps to talk about because there's lots of good things happening at the moment. I hope the audio out there is all right for everyone. Been having some issues lately. Hopefully I've got them sorted. A little bit of a set and forget from tonight. Hopefully they disappear from tonight. Everything seems to be all right. But shout out if you can't, if you don't get any audio or something's going on, because that helps us fix it very quickly. As always, I've got Andrew here with me, the man.
Okay.
And yeah, you can find us. We're currently live on Facebook, so give us a shout out on Facebook right now. Get some comments in there. Let us know what you think about the Kings. This run continues. We're also putting these up on YouTube to watch the next day in replay, and then the audio will go up on to the Anchor platform, which is Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. So if you want to listen to us in audio format, give us a subscribe and a rating and review. That helps us get us out there to more and more Kings fans. And more Kings fans, I think, is going to be the order of the day, because this run, I think, is going to go on for a little bit longer still. We've got some games to talk about, but the win against the Phoenix the other night, what was it, Saturday night? It was like a prime
Saturday
time.
night. It was 8 p.m. game.
8 p.m. tip. Pretty solid win, I thought. 91-89 probably wasn't really the right reflection of the result. I thought we were quite comfortable. We let it, slip away a little bit, slip back into the old habits of, letting leads slip late in games. But still, I've got that. I just don't feel that uncomfortable with this team.
No, it seems like that they have the ability to play down the line and get the victory. Southeast Melbourne hit a lot of chalky shots in the last kind of 2 or 3 minutes as well, so it's kind of like this run's not going to last forever. A lot of chalky shots.
We kind of went away from the staples, the good things that we were doing. There was this lobs. How many times did I text you going, man, lobs, how good is this? Just like Jalen Adams, so unafraid to throw lobs. He threw him to Maker, threw him to Jarrell. When Cooks comes back, he's going to throw him to him as well. Let's start out. What do you reckon about this team without Cooks moving forward in the next few? Have we heard anything whether he's going to be back soon?
I think it's not a series. I think it's a few weeks, but it is a little bit of a worry. I don't think they'll be able to take it to someone like Melbourne without Cooks, but I think we'd be able to get a few wins on the trot. It seems like Maker came back in and actually had a really good game. This is the first decent game he's had, I think, since playing for the Kings. Less Gumby, good shots, some chalky shots, but good shots. Good defense around the rim, not overcommitting. I mean, he fouled out, but he played pretty hard, so you can't really,
Yeah, you want him to play hard. That last foul was garbage too, by the way.
Yeah, it was just
some of the calls at the end of the game were a bit like, whoa, if we weren't like coming off 8 wins in a row or whatever, it would have been way more salty at the end of that game.
Yeah, it was pretty poor reffing. Munford kicks out way too much and just gets fouled for nothing. I think that this team has some pieces that could slot in. Bilali Bowles was good. I mean, I think Sean Bruce is out for the longest. I think he's out for like 6 weeks and reevaluated. So he's maybe not going to play the rest of the season.
Wow, I didn't actually know that. Was that before the game?
Yeah, they said that he's 6 weeks then reevaluated. We're coming into the last 42 days. That is 6 weeks.
Damn.
So lucky we have Bilali Bowles as a serviceable backup. Hit a nice long J, man.
Yeah,
he's got a smooth shooting action.
Striped, perfect through the hoop, and I think he's going to get a little bit more time to express himself, but he's got to take those minutes. He had 5 minutes, 1 of 1 from 2. You can still see a little bit around the rim. He's hesitant, like sometimes you want him to just back himself and just go in and score. Sometimes I look at some of these guys and just think, like, who cares if you get blocked? Like, they take the easy option too quickly. Like, oh, there's a guy there, I'm just going to back it out. And you just go, just take him. But then again, it comes close to, running the line of, like, why are you driving into traffic for? That's a bad shot. Get off the court type of thing. So, which there were...
Can I just say this?
Yeah.
What a game by Tommy V. He had a blinder.
Dude,
What a blind.
when he just
Back
got like
old good old Tommy.
reefed out of the air, I could not believe that wasn't a flagrant, like, or like unsportsmanlike. He just went like straight through his body, and he went down hard, like hard.
Yeah.
I had it because I'd walked away. I saw that and I was like, can't believe that's not an unsportsmanlike. I walked away and thinking like, oh no, he's down, like he's gonna be down. I came back, he's like standing there about to shoot the free throw. I'm like, damn it, this dude is tough, man.
Yeah, he's mate.
That was a bad
That's
fall.
Boxheadovich, but no man, he had a blinder of shots. Made
Yeah,
some good layups. Played some good D. He was plus 6 on the night off the bench, which is pretty good in a bench of minuses. So you can't really fault him for his effort. Though he had a very good game. But yeah, man, big game from Jarrell. Right, a fantastic game. Oh,
just beast,
absolute blinder.
absolute beast, and not forcing it. Like sometimes he forces a little bit, and we've spoken about that a little bit all through this season. It's like, don't need to force it. But in this game, we seem to have just so much space. They were sagging off Jalen Adams, like trying to play like aggressive defense on him. And then there's just so much space in the lane, and there was lobs. There was seams to the hoop. DJ getting these jumpers and floaters and all sorts of like shots as well, and he was feeling it. He had a nice, massive long bomb as well, and it's good to see this team. I think there's another level for him to go to. I think they can actually go to another level offensively, but defensively, it's pretty good at the moment. It's pretty high level, and I'm pretty impressed with the way, we've kind of closed it up, played some pretty solid D, and we're turning that into transition points. And then in the half court, we've looked just worlds better than we were at the start of the season. Ian Clark's had another, 3 of 10, but he had 13 points on the night, 5 of 6 in the free throw line. You can see he and Jalen Adams just go like, I only need like half a step on these guys, and I've got them basically to the hoop every time. And you can tell the way they play drives us.
It's if one comes in, one comes out, and I think that's a good way to be as well. You can see they played on the downhill to Clark when Adams comes out, and it's kind of why Bowers doesn't get a lot of minutes because they play everything through Clark. He either shoots the ball or he kicks it out to a shooter. This is a good little tight rotation. I don't think there's really a lot of room left for a lot of pieces in there barring major injury to come down the back of the season. So unless we get some garbage minutes, I think we're going to be pretty set and pretty comfortable.
Yeah, if Bruce is going to be out for 6 weeks, then it's kind of crucial that we can keep Clark healthy, rotating with Adams. We've got Wani as well playing on ball, still not shooting the ball that great, but his on ball defense has really, really helped this season, I think. And then you can kind of just get Bales 10 minutes here and there, work him up into some sort of little seam to get him playing as well. But really, that Bruce one has the chance, has the possibility to go into a dangerous, we might need that fourth guard. But I think we're sitting kind of pretty. We've just got bigs for days, like Tommy, the makers, like Jarrell. Even Galloway could probably give you 2 or 3 solid minutes on defense. We saw that a little bit last year, but yeah, it's coming together just perfectly. And DJ's still finding his legs too. 24 minutes, 15 points, 5-11. I thought that was the most solid performance he's had this year, where you could tell his legs were under him.
Yeah. It was a good win. We definitely have the rope over something. It's great to see.
I don't know how. I still watch that, and I know, I sit there and I'm like,
G's unplayable. G's unplayable in a small ball lineup. You look at every other team; they play big fives. We don't play a big five. He's unplayable, and that's the problem. Is that unless you he can't play on the roll, and that's the problem. This whole Sydney team is just pick and roll, and around the curl, pick and roll. They're too quick, and he's unplayable. That's what they had Pinot on, and that's what they had what's his name?
Ashley had to play 16 minutes.
Brandon Ashley.
And yeah, if you're getting 32 or 35 in total from Ashley and Chi against this Sydney team at the moment, we've got so many scoring seams that aren't just shoot the ball. They're getting to the hoop. They're creating for others. They're like creating space for someone like DJ to get to the hoop or shoot a jumper. Bale's he's probably the smallest guy in both teams, and he had a jumper that was, wide open as well. And yeah, that drop coverage with She, it's just not really working. I've seen it work though against other teams, man. I've seen it work. Like the last month and a bit, they had this little stretch where it's a solid, solid play from him, and like it was knitting the offense together a little bit. But when they come up against us, I think yeah, you're right. The mobility of Jarrell, Cooks when he's there also causes them havoc. And then I've got to admit, McCurmaker had a great game. Like, for where he's at, the last couple of weeks we've kind of gone struggling a little bit as a kind of younger guy. But I thought it was a pretty mature performance. We just kind of threw him at their bigs and just go wild. Like, you're not going to get yanked. You're not going to, like, obviously fouls out in the end, and a couple of those fouls were a bit dodgy, but you just let him loose and he went to work. And I think it might be a little bit of a confidence booster for him.
Yeah, definitely. It was good to see kind of what you wanted to see all year, and it's nice that's kind of happening in the back end of the season where everything's kind of coming together obviously even with injuries, which we can safely say we have not had over the past 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Usually when there's an injury, the whole team just collapses in positions, but it seems like we've got in and out glue guys, which is, when we started this season, we thought, oh, wow, this team is so deep, and we're seeing that now.
Yeah,
They're deep.
it's funny. It's come full circle all the way to the end, really, right? Like where it's kind of knitting together at the right time. We had a couple of injuries, and we've had Cooks out for a couple of weeks. Now Bruce is out for a while, but yeah, you're right. There haven't been those gut punch injuries that just decimate our ability to knit offense together and play defense. Is that on the coaching?
Maybe, I don't know. It might be. We don't see Jalen Adams doing these stupid dives to the hoop, which is where everyone gets fucking injured, though.
Mm. It's
he plays on
but I
lots of.
mean, you heard me talking about 40 the last couple of weeks when we played them, and just looking at the similar things that he was doing. I just think this team plays offense way better. Like it's just a much
Oh, yeah.
better gelled team. Everyone moves with a purpose too, which is something that was very obvious when watching us against the Taipans. That if one guy goes in, the other guy goes out. If someone sets a screen, someone moves off ball, and if someone crosses under the basket, they set a screen. They try and get guys open, and that just wasn't happening last year. And it's I think the more you play downhill basketball, I think the less you kind of get injured, the less dangerous things you got to do, the less you got to hustle, less you got to work for your points. And I think credit to the coaching team, because they've done a great job turning this around. Because really, at the start of the season, again, like we said, it was like, oh, this has a chance to be really bad. But currently, looking at the table, we are 2 wins ahead of the Phoenix and 1 ahead of Illawarra. And what are we? Is it 8 in a row? I think it's 8 in a row. Is it 9 in a row?
It's 8 in a row.
8 in a row. And it'd be nice to be hitting the finals probably now, I think. But still, I think this team has like another level to kind of go to and gel at. And yeah, we've got 4 rounds to go, and hopefully, yeah, we can secure that spot in the next couple of weeks, because it's going to be crucial if we can go through the next sort of. Everyone's kind of getting back to 20 games played. If we can kind of not have 2 wins over the next few weeks, not 2 losses over the next few weeks, I think we're pretty much a shoo-in to make at least that 3rd spot. And then there's a chance we might just breathe down Perth's neck. We've got to play them, so that's a massive game. We've got to play the Hawks, so that's also a massive game. So some really, really heavy stuff coming up, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. What about this Southeast Melbourne team in general? Like, if they don't make the finals, it was such a good looking team at the start of the season, and then I don't know,
it's not got substance or depth. That's the problem. It's like the Brisbane team. They always kind of look okay, and then they're just shit. And Creek is
Creek
good.
seems to play like decent against us, but it just never has any reward.
Yeah,
like you watch him and you go, oh wow, Creek, you finished that. Oh wow, like that was solid. Like, oh, that was pretty good. And then you just look up at the box score and you see, 6 for 17, and they lost. Like, okay. Like, and you think like he's had a good game, but really, like, he's struggled. But Yeah, you're right. She struggled. Liafa, I think, is probably better served not playing 32 minutes. He's probably better off playing, like 18 minutes and shooting, 1 of 6 from three off the bench. And then Adnam, the league's best off the bench scorer with the Wilt Chamberlain one for Kyle Adnam. We seem to just
Yeah,
clamp him up every time too, right? He just
I
can't.
can't believe it. Like he went to the
What's
bloody
the deal
world.
with him?
He went to the World Cup a couple of years ago because he was a shooter. And look at this: 3 points, 1 and 2. They are missing Brooklyn. Brooklyn is pivotal,
True.
and he's out for the rest of the season. So
Yeah, he had that shoulder injury. I saw that happen live. Yeah.
um, yeah.
I I don't know if it's just that though. I don't know. Munford was pretty good, but then again, like these bigger type of like rangy scorers seem to do really well against us because there's
Yeah.
that little bit of extra space around the bigs. And it seems to be a way to get some perches against us is to throw a couple of really scoring like your Franks, like Patterson, maybe. Some of these scorers from like the Taipans over the last few weeks. It's usually not shooters that shoot the ball well against us. So I'm wondering how we're going to go against Melbourne if we come up against them in the finals. And then through the end of the season, there's a little bit of basketball to play, and I think it's in our hands. I think that's something we've not had in the last 2 seasons.
Well, I think if we manage to beat Perth this week, we've then got the Jack Jumpers um, away.
Yeah, I think we got
We then we've
away,
got the 36ers and the
yeah,
Breakers, which should be a shoe in a week. Should be.
should be.
And then we've got the Hawks, and then we've got the Hawks again and the Taipans. So it's not the easiest of front ends, but with 2 games, which we really need to, if we beat Perth this week, I think we're kind of on the home stretch. You know what I mean? I think
For
this is the
sure.
biggest game
It's a massive game.
because
They're coming off multitude of wins as well. It's a bit of a
they've got a 9-game home.
yeah, good on them.
Like at RSC
Fair
Arena,
enough. I guess
home
they've kind of
cooking.
played most of their games. Sorry, say that again.
You know what they're like at RSC Arena,
Yeah,
home cooking.
is it just them, or is it? I suppose it is just them, the guys in the grey as well, or the green.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think it's looking good. We can sit back. Not much to whinge about, not much to complain about. It's just put the feet up and watch this team play really good basketball. I think it's just a joy to watch. And I think Buford deserves so much credit too, because the more I see of him in general, the more I've kind of misguided Will Weaver and Buford a little bit. Like you look at Will Weaver and then you look at Buford and it's easy to think, wow, those two are like might be the same in terms of like American basketball coaches. But you look at the passion, the attention to detail of Buford, and Will Weaver was kind of like a silent assassin in that kind of sense. But he had the huge brain. He had the galaxy brain to go with it. But I think Buford, like revving this team up, Buford feels like he's kind of on the level with this team, and everyone's firing as well. And I think that's kind of propelling us too. Like, and I don't think we really had that last year. The more I kind of rack my brain and think about these performances from last year, I don't think we had that. Like we had, yeah, we're all in together, but really all we're doing is running up against brick walls and not getting anywhere. So I think like that kind of had like a bit of a loop back effect. Whereas this year we're actually doing things and that momentum's propelling us, and that's it's great to see. I think everyone deserves it on that team. It's a great team, full of camaraderie, full of good dudes too. Some of the NBL's kind of better dudes from around the league. 3-2-1.
3 Jarrell.
3 Jarrell.
I'm going to give 2 to Maker.
Maker
I think
too.
I think he had a standout game, and 1 to Tommy V, because it's been a while.
Tommy V hits the old Tommy V. Reign supreme. Why did my one? I mustn't have saved it. I had DJ for 2, and then I might give McCurr the sneaky one. McCurr might become my sneaky one man.
I mean, Jalen Adams had 8 assists, which is just crazy in NBL.
But every time you can see off of one dribble, as long as that guy cuts, he has so much space because they overcommit. he knows the angles. He's that quick that he gets a step and has an extra step to make that dime. Like, it's so dangerous, and it just shows you, like, if he wasn't a scorer, he'd have like double doubles every night, like, easily. Like, because all you do is get him off that high screen, get the dude to hard cut, and he's there like almost every time because everyone's got to overcommit, especially in that Phoenix team where there was so much, like, Ashley would just overcommit crazy because there are some bigs in this league where they just have to do it because that's kind of how they play. And then I'm sure that Clark and Adams have kind of worked this out. Like, they'll just look at certain bigs and just go, that's a guy who loves overcommitting, like your Hodgsons, your Salt from Brisbane, Franks and Patterson are similar like that. Your Jawais and those guys who they have to overcommit. And they've just taken it and just like, look at this little wrinkle. We're just going to rinse this, 8 assists. That's great. What a pickup, man. You said it at the start of the year, and then you said Clark was a great pickup. What a call. It was great. All right, let's do tips for next week. I haven't done it again because I've been busy. But let's go and drag this over here. No one can see what I'm doing. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And go next week's games. Just make sure that I'm doing the right round. And it is Breakers and Bullets to start.
Breakers.
They should be winning more, man.
Yeah, they should.
The Bullets I have a hard time with sometimes. I'm going to go Bullets, but it could be the Breakers, man, in one of those games. As a Cairns Convention Centre, so it's an away game for the Breakers.
Yeah.
Well, a home game, rather, away for the Bullets. Perth Wildcats are at RAC against the Jack Jumpers.
I think Jack Jumpers.
Wow. You need points. Bad. Then we've got Cairns at home to the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix.
I'm going to go Cairns.
We'll go the Phoenix. Brisbane Bullets versus the Jack Jumpers. Brisbane are at home.
Yeah, Brisbane.
Oh, sneak. That feels like one of those Jack Jumpers. And the Jack Jumpers, just out of nowhere. No one expected them to win, and they win. Then we're at home. At RAC against Perth. Sydney versus Perth.
Kings.
Yeah.
Kings.
I want the Kings to win this, man. That'd be massive if we just, pull the pants down in RAC. That's all set up for it, isn't it? They have to play as well an early game, a little Thursday, Saturday for you. Sounds good. 36ers versus Southeast Melbourne.
Southeast Melbourne.
The Knucks. Then we got Melbourne United at home to the Hawks.
The Hawks.
Wow, I'm going United. Breakers are finishing up the round in Cairns as an away game against the Taipans. Types. I might go Types as well for that. Just one of those sneaky. The Taipans. The Taipans win by 6, and it's a pretty rough game. And that rounds out tipping for this week. Tipping. I'll have to put the ladder up. Probably do that tomorrow afternoon when I get home. And shall we talk just quickly about this upcoming game?
I think so. I think it's going to be a tough game to kind of get, but I think we have it over Perth, man. I think we match up very well. It'd be interesting if Cooks makes the journey over. I'm kind of hoping he does, but if he doesn't, I think that we can match up pretty well against what they're throwing at us. They really don't have a good 5-man, and I think that's really where they fall down. It's just Bryce Cotton and Vic Law running around like absolute nut jobs and shooting like absolute legends. But that's pretty much their team. It's not what it once was. It's just that Bryce Cotton is the best player in the league and still is. Like, it's him and Jalen Adams, and what he can do to teams, and just how you have to follow him around. But I think Winey is that guy that can pester him a bit enough to throw him off his game. I don't think a lot of teams guy that's just literally like you don't need to do anything but just run after him the whole game. So I would. It's going to be an interesting battle.
The biggest thing they've had this season is those overcommits are giving Vic Law so much space. Like you overcommit on Cotton,
Yeah.
you give Law way too much space. And he just shoots the ball. Even from when he was playing with Brisbane before he got injured, man. Like that game where he just torched us. I think he had like 6 from 7 in the first half. And we were just like, gee, wow. Like this guy cannot be stopped. And in that team, there was no like big wing to stop a guy like that. And in this team without Cooks, I feel like there is also still kind of no wing to stop that. So that might run amok a little bit. But at the same time, it's also one of those, well, he's just going to run amok, right? Because that's what he does, and that's all well and good. That's all known. We know he's going to run amok, so you accept that. And if you kind of clamp Cotton and try and keep him under 20 points or keep him to around 20 points, because it's definitely a tough ask to get him, anywhere near the 20, like, anything under 20, you're having a great night if you do that. But at RAC without Cooks, we're going to struggle, but I want to see this. I'm still like, I want to see a litmus test like this for this team, because I think what happens will define the next few weeks in that game, right? Because if we lose and we lose good, then we can at least go, all right, we've got that test out of our way. Now we can rebuild and work back up into it. It might be one of those kind of, oh, well, I'm glad we had that loss, really galvanized us type moments. But and then if we win, it's a nice springboard into, continuing on our merry way. So I think, this game's kind of coming at a pretty good time with 2 months left, 4 rounds left in the season.
It's coming to a good crescendo. I'm not as stressed as I was.
Nah, it's the wins, man. The wins. They're so good. They make you feel so good. You watch it, rewatch it, you reanalyze, you look at this team, you appreciate it. Just the stress of like that team last year, just like the whole time going like, oh my God, we just won a nail biter. Oh, we lost a nail biter. Like takes its toll on you, man. And it's just a good team, fun team, good all round team, great team to watch, and just great dudes too. Like I can't explain enough how good of fun we're having this season watching this, just without the stress. But this Perth team, Norton's been a little bit ineffective. He had one like monster game the other night. You got to always worry about him off ball if we're doubling Wagstaff, and Hodgson is just like Hodgson's sort of come into his own a little bit, but you can tell this Perth team is just like, ugh, like, ugh. We're not gonna like run offense for you, Matty. Like, and there might be a little bit of a spark from that moment that DJ had with him a few weeks ago or couple of months ago. But yeah, I feel like this is kind of without Cooks, this is still a winnable game. I'm not sitting here going, we should win this game, and I'll be disappointed if we don't win it. But I think there's definitely a lot to take out of this game if we don't win, because they got pushed pretty hard by New Zealand. They were down, I think, a fair bit at halftime. No, they were down probably about 12-13, and then they came back at halftime. So it's going to be interesting. They play Thursday night too, which is massive, and it's a decent game against the Jack Jumpers. Like it's not a Melbourne or it's not a Illawarra or something like that where they're going to go full out. But yeah, this couldn't be a better time to play them, man. I'm looking forward to it. So.
Indeed.
All right, and the good times roll on. I guess we'll leave it there. We're capping these at 30 minutes because the times are so good. It's a shame I don't have any extra time to do any analysis because some of the stuff we're watching now is great. Lobs, I'm just so glad Lobs are back. And he just sees him. I see him, we see him, he sees him, and you're just like, oh, the best play. But as always, we're live right now on Facebook, so give us a like and a subscribe if you're on Facebook. I'll put this up on YouTube for tomorrow to stream, and you can watch it like we were live tomorrow afternoon, probably about 5 o'clock. I'll set that to go, and also you can listen to us in audio form on Anchor and on Apple Podcasts, on the Spotify platform, and on Google Podcasts. And as always, we will see you guys next time
on the King's Dive.